Hello and welcome to Matt's Mosh Pit, and tonight I'm going to be checking out Angel Wings by President. But before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown me and my channel so far. It truly means a lot, and I could not do this without you. So folks, President, just like you guys, I've heard all of the things about President being an industry plant and all of that kind of stuff. And I love conspiracies. I just find them fascinating in all aspects. And so I definitely seen all of the stuff that says this is a complete industry plant. And so I don't really want to focus on that in this particular reaction. The reason why I'm actually even covering this song or covering President is the fact that, as I've mentioned in the past, I'm going to Norway this summer to the Tons of Rock Festival, and President will be performing there. And so it got me thinking, and I could be that person who's a complete, like, they're an industry plant, I don't want to see them or anything like that. Or I could go, you know what, even if they are an industry plant, even if the industry said, we're putting this fake band together or whatever, and we're going to blow them up because we think, people will like it or whatever it is. I've never actually heard the music. And so I've heard that you could compare them to Sleep Token and stuff like that. But I have not actually heard music from President. So I figured even if they're an industry plant, even if they go against everything that people stand for and whatnot, I don't even know if the music is good or not. And so I'm one of those people that it's hard to criticize something if you actually don't know the music. Like, I could easily just go, oh yeah, forget them. They're just, the industry wants us to love them and they're blowing them up. But what if it's actually good music? I have no idea. And like I said, I haven't really heard their music. I know that they've been compared to Sleep Token. And I will say this, when Sleep Token first came out, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm not going to say, I'm not going to be that guy also that says, oh, I heard the first Sleep Token album when they first, no, I wasn't that guy. It was not the latest album, but it was the album before with Chokehold or whatever on it. And the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is super cool. This is different. This is interesting, all that kind of good stuff. And then I listened to it probably once too many times and got really, really annoyed with it. And so I checked out the latest album and I was just equally as annoyed with it as well. So I don't know that it's necessarily Sleep Token's fault. It could be the fact that my taste completely changed over the last couple of years. As you know, with this channel, I'm checking out all kinds of different music. And I noticed that me personally, my tastes have gone heavier and heavier and heavier. So it could just be as simple as that. Sleep Token does not need me as a fan strictly because I know they're already doing extremely well on their own with their fans. So they don't need me. So with that being said, since I don't know anything about President, but people are comparing them to Sleep Token, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to give them an honest try. I'm going to give them a good go. But if it sounds just like Sleep Token, it's like, I don't know that that's actually going to work for me. But even when I go to Norway, I still might check them out just because you never know, because sometimes people live are different or better or whatever. I don't know. But that's why I'm doing this. I really just want to give them a fair shot and check it out and see, maybe industry plant or not, maybe they're awesome. And maybe I'll have a new band to check out more of. So let's just get right into it. So this is brand new. It's called Angel Wings by President. Also, first, I should clarify, since this is mentioning some people wear masks to hide, others to be free. I actually don't have a problem with the whole mask thing. And I know people are like, oh, and part of them being an industry plant is the whole, oh, the mask thing worked with, Ghost, and it worked with, Sleep Token. But honestly, people have been wearing masks forever, even Kiss with the face paint, Slipknot, all this kind of stuff. So I really don't care about the mask part. Hey, have at it. If that's what you want to do, do it. Live and let live, as I used to say, along with the Beatles.
I stopped dreaming in colors, just seeing new shades of black. Keep thinking I see your face, and then the shape retracts. A line on the table, a gun with a target, man. No need to shoot it now, I'm not infectious yet. Shit, I'm not infectious yet.
I can't tell if it's like it's not as auto-tuned as much as like Sleep Token is. So that's a good sign that it's not, I don't like, I'm sure there's probably some auto-tune in there, but it's not as auto-tuned as Sleep Token at this point. So I'm okay with that part. And I do like I like the drums, and, it's definitely different than what I've been listening to. So we'll give it more of a shot.
Say it now. You carry me out of the fire, but nothing ever seems to change. Guess it's safe to say you hide behind a mask, but the life you had never slips away. Is it safe to say that you never fucking love me anyway?
Okay, so that was Angel Wings by President. And I will say it kind of scares me because I kind of threw out the sleep token aspect earlier. And one of the things that drew me into Sleep Token was I like the fact that they had the ability to be really aggressive and do the rah, but it was like so few and far between. And the rest of the music for me was kind of like heavily auto tuned and just sort of like, I don't know, it's kind of like just really more poppy, I guess, and just sort of like, so this kind of gave me the same vibes in the fact that I liked when they got really aggressive and was just like, rah, and I'm like, cool. So that gives me hope that there's something there. But then there's parts I liked. Then there's parts that kind of sounded, and this is no disrespect to Ed Sheeran, but it sounds like if you said, hey, Ed Sheeran, kind of create a metal song or try to create a metal song or add some kind of metal things to an Ed Sheeran song. Because it kind of gives me like, I'd say the majority of this song in a weird sort of way sounded like something Ed Sheeran would do. And there's no disrespect to Ed Sheeran. That dude sells out stadiums and all that kind of stuff. But for my personal taste, it's not something that I would necessarily gravitate towards. So I guess I really do have to kind of compare him to Sleep Token in a weird sort of way, because I understand how, like, I do like the aggressive part, and I felt like some of this in this song was a little bit more aggressive than some of the Sleep Token stuff that I've heard. But I have a feeling it's going to be way too, few and far between for my personal taste. But I'm glad I checked him out. And I do think I'm kind of curious enough that, like, I think when I go see him go to Norway, I think I will stop by just to see, what they sound like live. Sometimes bands sound heavier, or, maybe the stage show is like really, really cool and that it's worth it no matter what. So I think I'm interested enough to go see him from that perspective. The other aspect that I do like about this is it's very, very, as you guys know, I'm a big, big fan of bands who are, I'd say, the crossover bands that can slowly drag people into the dark side, And so I think bands like this are very important because, it might not be for me, but it's going to be perfect for that person who is maybe a big Ed Sheeran fan and hears this and then goes, oh, wait a minute, this guy's screaming. I kind of like it. And then maybe they go by the President album and they go, oh, this is really cool. What else has screaming in it? And then they kind of work their way into the dark side. So I'm a fan from that perspective. This song, would I necessarily like? I don't know that I'm going to be rushing to go buy the album, but I'm glad I was able to check them out. Like I said, the industry plant aspect to it. On one end, you could completely gatekeep and just go, they're an industry plant, they suck. But at the end of the day, whether they're an industry plant or not, their music is out there. And if it's good music, if it's legitimately good, then just embrace it. Who cares how they got there? The fact is they got there. And so that's my take on it. And I'd love to know your take on it. So please let me know in the comments, what you think about the band. Am I completely off the rails? I'm hoping the President Army, I don't know what the fan club looks like or what they're called, but hopefully they don't crucify me on this. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the video. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.